Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's February 7th, 2016, and this week we're going to do a guitar picking lesson. This week's question was sent in from Fritz. He's out in Fairfield, Maine, and he wrote in with this email. I was curious if there were some picking and finger drills for helping with playing scale runs more along the neck. I'm having trouble playing faster scale ideas that move horizontally. Maybe I'm doing the position shifts wrong. When I try to do my position changes, I find that my picking gets all blundered up. If you could make a lesson on playing horizontal scales, I'd sure be grateful. From Fritz in Fairfield, Maine, USA. Well, thanks for writing in, Fritz. A lot of guitar players will have problems when they try taking sections of the in-position scales and then move them along in a more lateral way. Over the years of teaching guitar, I've noticed that one of the biggest problems is that the scales students will try moving initially in a horizontal fashion will often be unrelated into the next follow-up shapes. So in other words, the portion of the first scale shape they're trying to move into the next scale region will be kind of not a great choice of notes on how they're laid out on the fingerboard. So when you're shifting along the neck, the shapes that you use need to flow nicely, from one into the next. If they do, the transitions will feel a lot better under the fingers. And the most common fingering patterns are going to be 1, 2, 4, and also 1, 3, 4. We're going to look at those closer during the lesson part of the video. And so, when the hands and the fretting layouts are all easier to apply, the picking hand winds up tracking everything better as well. So it's all, a lot better connected for both left and right hands. So in this video, I'm going to work with scale examples that cross through several positions along the neck. We'll look at fingerings, how they're laid out, and some phrasing devices that help shift from one location to the next. Well, in the first example pattern, I wanted to work on a horizontal moving phrase, which is shifting more than 4 frets and also involves some economy picking. If you're unfamiliar with the whole idea of economy picking, it's simply a way of picking that is often applied to faster melodic runs when it can be just simply more economical to perform multiple down or multiple up picks rather than executing, the entire melodic run with strict alternate picking. So you wind up having a couple of times where your pick will be multiple down strums or multiple up picks or whatnot. So it's just going to make things a little bit easier sometimes depending on the way a line is laid out on the neck. Now, in the first example, I've taken an E minor scale and I've gone with a straight time feel across the entire line, starting at the 12th fret region, ending down in 7th fret region. And the first and last measures both contain a short segment of economy picking. So first of all, let's just go through this thing nice and slow. Starts with a down pick. We're going to be hitting 12th fret of the first string. And then we'll have 2 up picks that'll take care of the 13th and 14th frets. And then we'll have alternate picking after that. And then we'll have a couple of tones that'll be done with an upstroke, so some more economy picking. And then lots of alternate from that point on. And then at the end, we're going to have multiple up strums, or up picks, I should say, taking care of those last 3 frets there, or 3 notes, pardon me, the 7th, 8th, and 9th frets of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. So now I'll just go through it again. Okay, again. So you can tell, when you speed these things up, they really have an interesting way that they interlock from one position as you're moving to the next, and then, to the next after that. And the idea that we're really shooting for is how we're going to lay the fingerings out. Sometimes you'll be going 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and then sometimes you'll use 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Sometimes on those stretches where you have 2 whole steps, I'm always recommending 1st, 2nd, and small finger like that. Just gives you a little bit easier time than reaching between the third to the fourth finger. It kind of gets an awkward stretch there, but second into the fourth finger is a lot easier in a lot of those cases. So you can work on that one to get started, and we'll come back in a moment and check out another one as well. Okay, well, the last exercise that we looked at, you probably noticed how important it is to develop the use of the first, third, and fourth, as well as the first, second, and fourth fingers. These two fingering groups make up the majority of our scale run ideas, and once a guitarist can gain a very high level of control with the use of these finger combinations, the results for how easy and how quickly a player can learn to transition scale runs along the neck will improve greatly. Now, in the next example, I want to look at another idea. This time I have another E minor scale run that covers the positions from 7th to the low open 6th guitar string. Now the main idea here is going to be a shift to a triplet feel and also the use of multiple pull-offs and slides. That's going to be the way that we're actually going to be doing the shifting from one fretboard location to the next. So first of all, here's how this idea sounds, just played slower. It starts up at 9th fret. Remember, it's all triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. Okay, so we're doing some interesting things there, especially with the pull-off and slide combinations. We're starting with a pull-off there on 3rd string, going 9th to 7th frets. And then we're coming back on the 7th there, bringing it into the pull-off happening on the 4th string. Then we're going to start again in that same position, 7th position still. And that's where we have our first shift. So we're shifting with a slide idea from 7 to 5. And then we're going to do another idea with the pull-off slide. This time it's going to be a shift down to 4th fret. And then we're going to do a pull-off in that region, coming around to the root of the scale there, the E. And then we're going to drop down 4, 5, and 7. This is basically a B minor triad arpeggio. And we're doing that with economy picking again. So the picking is going all upstrokes in that area. After that, it's pretty easy. It's just quarter notes. We're playing an A and then a G and then the open E there. So here it is again. All right, so it's kind of an interesting idea. And it's also kind of cool, with the triplets. And we're going to explore that a little bit further in the next idea because we're going to move from these 8th note triplet concepts into 16th note triplets. Well, in this final exercise I have for you, there's going to be a focus placed upon speed. And the picking and the position shifting horizontally includes ideas that will all be happening very rapidly and covering the fretting positions in an ascending way this time. From the 2nd position, it's all E minor again, 2nd position, lower register string sets there, all the way up to the 5th position, following that E octave. Now, another interesting idea with this multiple position scale idea overall is, how the parts are moving in very similar manners, as they shift from one scale section into the next. Those fingerings that we mentioned earlier, how you're traveling from, 1 to 3 to 4, and then there's also the movement of 1 to 2 to 4. They're all really important to pay attention to, especially in a run like I'm about to do. You'll want to thoroughly memorize all the moves, how all the positions operate from one shift to the next, because that's going to give you your control with all the ways that you're shifting and the ideas, and that's going to eventually start you in the direction of the memorization of everything, so that you can turn on metronome. That's what we're trying to get to in the long run, is the metronome turned on, and that's going to help build the speed of the line. So anyway, to get started here, let's start learning the idea. We're going to be in E minor once again, of course, but this time we're going to be functioning with a rhythmic duration of 16th note triplets. So be sure to feel everything as a group of 6 notes as you perform the part. So we're feeling it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So make sure you got that feel down, because that's a huge part of understanding, how this line is going to build, across the couple positions that we have here to move, horizontally along the neck. So here it is again, play a little slower. Okay, speed it up a bit. And again. So make sure that you understand how everything's interlocked and how it all functions, from one note to the next, how the fingering layouts operate. And then once everything's memorized, just turn a metronome on and start building the speed. And make sure that everything is very clear in terms of the picking. You don't want to have flub notes between what you're playing. You want to have everything be very clear. So good luck with that one. It's a little bit faster, but it's a great way to develop speed picking as well. Well, as you can probably tell from the exercises that we covered, playing scale lines and runs along the neck, guitar licks and so forth that, really rip along the neck, crossing multiple positions and using multiple groups of string sets and so forth, it involves mastering quite a few playing skills. Just to quickly recap these ideas, we first of all need to know and fully understand all the scale patterns on the neck. So that means major scales, minor scales, pentatonics, they all got to be really well versed in position in the beginning, and then you're going to have a lot easier time interlocking them along the neck in a more lateral manner. So get to know the scales, do the practice on that. It helps immensely, of course, when you're going to take things to the next step like this. Keep working. They just become memorized and they get better for you. The next idea, though, is fingering. We've got a lot going on with how we're using first, second, third, and fourth fingers. They're used in combinations. It's very unique according to the way the scale's laid out. You've got to plan this stuff. The better the planning, then the better it's going to be on the execution. So really understand how you're going to shift from one scale layout into the next with the fingering combinations you're going to use. Get to know them, get to know how they function in the different neck regions and so forth. It's going to be immensely helpful. Lastly, you've got to have your skills together with alternate picking, economy picking, and understanding how to use phrasing devices like position shifts, with the slides, hammer-on, pull-off ideas to get you moving in a more lateral manner and taking the scales ascending and descending along the neck. These are going to help you shift, from one region into the next region with a lot more ease and, of course, a lot more skill as time goes on. Well, anyway, that's about all the time that I have for today. As always, I want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if possible, consider a small donation to help fund the Guitar Lessons project here. Really, the donations are all that I have as a real income with these lessons. And one day I got to really get these things organized in a different way and maybe create a membership site or something. I've got a lot of emails from people asking me to create some kind of a membership site with all of the lesson plans built and everything. And I've got some ideas I'm running, by some webmasters right now. Hopefully we can get that stuff together in the months ahead. I'd really like to do that because right now all I'm living off of is the donations on this channel. So your support is greatly appreciated. Got a lot of people donate through the month, and it helps immensely to keep these lessons going. So appreciate everyone helping out, and I just want to say thanks for being a subscriber and for watching the videos. I hope you get a lot out of them. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up now and say see you next time, and we'll catch up on the next video. Bye for now. I'd like to take a moment to mention another guitar video lesson project I've started. It's a unique guitar lesson approach that I'm doing online, and it's not like anything I've done before. Best of all, it's 100% free. I've called this approach Guitar Micro Lessons, and they're a great way to learn a few new licks or riffs or chord shapes each week. Now, these Guitar Micro Lessons are quick and easy to learn from. They're very short, with each lesson running between only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in length. They're published to YouTube from Monday to Thursday on my other Guitar Blog Update YouTube channel, and you can either subscribe to that channel to guarantee getting each new episode, or just visit the channel whenever it's convenient for you and check out the new micro lessons in the playlist on the Guitar Blog Update channel's homepage. My Blues Guitar Styles ebook is a masterclass course covering a huge amount of information with 8, 12, and 16 bar blues progressions, classic blues styles, plus all the important chord patterns. There's over 50 pages of information, including sections on blues techniques like slide, alternate tuning, and bending. This ebook has everything the guitar player needs for a solid foundation in blues guitar, including 27 MP3 audio tracks for easy at-home study. Blues Guitar Styles is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.